Hey guys, John Jr. here. I'm bringing you guys another APA video, this time the draft analysis for the second 4 weeks or the second trimester of this draft. And today, I don't know if you guys can already see the first pick, but I've got him on this screen right here. I had to remember how to record this. I completely forgot about this, and this is supposed to go up the day after I'm recording this. Hopefully, I get it to you guys on time, but before we get into this, a huge shout out to everybody in my front office for helping me draft. Huge shout out to Panther and Midi for allowing me to be a part of this. A huge shout out to you guys for helping me have motivation to keep doing this stuff every single day. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into what I drafted and why I drafted it. So the first overall pick for your Portland Nightshaders, well, I guess 13th overall pick, because we did have the 13th pick again, or we might have had 12th pick the first time. We had not great picks either time, so I knew I wasn't going to get anything crazy, but I figured I could get something at least somewhat good that was still there. There wasn't anything crazy broken left, like Lando T I don't think was left, I don't think Zygarde was left. There was nothing that really stuck out to me that I really wanted to draft, but then I sat there and I thought for a minute, and this was before I recorded my Q&A, so I already knew what I was going to say on those questions, and one of the questions was, what mon do you want to try the most in Draft League format? And my answer to that was Mega Diancie, so that's what we went ahead and snagged here. I snagged this boy in Silver Smasher. He went ahead and helped me with the draft plan, and then everybody else came on and helped me with that afterwards. But we're gonna try Mega Diancie. It's a mon that I've always wanted to try, but it's a mon that I've always felt was a little bit overhyped. I haven't really saw the appeal of it going in the first round, but maybe that'll change after this. Who knows? I haven't ever used it, so I can't really say for myself. But it has 110 base speed and 160, I want to say, base attacks with, like, I think it's 100 base defenses. Let me look. 110 base defenses. So it's got really nice stats and really nice dual stab. Its dual stab is super hard to switch into. It's got stealth rock, and it also has magic bounce, which is really nice to be able to bounce those hazards back. Not only that, but it also has access to clear body. So if somebody wants to set up webs, you can switch this thing in prior to Mega Evolution, and the speed drop will not happen. It has a lot of setup moves. It has Calm Mind. It has Rock Polish, and it's just all around a great mon. And it also has Earth Power to help break the steel types that you would think its typing does not allow you to break. So it's a really overall great mon. Some things that it has trouble with, like, it doesn't appreciate fast steel types. Obviously, steel types are still kind of difficult for it to deal with. Even with Earth Power, you're not going to OHKO most steel types, and they are most definitely going to OHKO you. It doesn't really appreciate, like, it has kind of some trouble with bulky psychics as long as they have flash cannon. Bulky waters are difficult for it to deal with because, you know, that rock weakness. That rock has a water weakness, which isn't really super helpful on that front. You might be able to 2-hit KO all those mons, but you will get probably OHKO or 2-hit KO'd in return. So Mega Diancie is just a really cool mon, and I really wanted to try it this draft here. So moving on, we needed a mon to help with our ground weakness. So the mon that I really thought would do that was Latios, but Latios got taken by Leader Geo. He decided to go ahead and take a Mono Dragon team. Spoilers if you haven't watched his thing. I should have probably said spoilers before I did that. But he went for a Mono Dragon team, so we didn't get Latios, but Latias was a fine backup choice, so that's what we got. It has Levitate, so it does levitate above the ground, so it does not get affected by those ground type moves. It does resist water, so it helps Diancie on that front. And I mean, I guess it can help with the steel types. Not really. No, not really at all. But it is a really cool Pokemon in the sense that I've always wanted to try it. It's a Calm Mind Sweeper, kind of like Diancie, but it fills so many roles. It has Defog to help get away those rocks, so we have a Hazard Setter and Remover in our first two Pokemon. It has Reliable Recovery and Recover and Roost, which is really cool. I'm not sure why it needs both, but it has such a diverse move pool. It has Energy Ball, Thunderbolt, Draco Meteor. It has Shadow Ball, I do believe. Obviously, Dual Stab, Psychic, and I already said Draco, ignore that. But it just has such a diverse move pool, and there's a lot of things that it can do. The only problem with this mon is that it wants to do too many things at once, and it often has 4 move slot syndrome. But hopefully we'll be able to work around that. It's just such a cool Pokemon, and it's another mon that I've wanted to use for a while. Another mon that I felt was a little bit overhyped, but now that I've actually prepped with it a little bit, I've already prepped for a couple of matches, it actually looks really solid, dude. Like, it's a really solid Pokemon. Like I said, the only downside of Lati is that it has 4 move slot syndrome pretty badly. It's got a really nice typing, really nice recovery. It has setup. It has a move for almost every situation. It's just a really nice Pokemon overall. So our next pick here was a pick that I didn't know if it would make it back to us, but it did. We got Tangrowth, our girl Tangjelly. Tangrowth is one of my absolute favorite Pokemon to use in draft format, which is weird because I never used to like Tangrowth growing up, but once I drafted it, it all changed. It's a really cool Pokemon, really really good defensive wall, and it can even be a special wall if you put an AV on it. It has regenerator, which is really, really cool, and it's really cool in the sense that it can be physical or special, or it can be mixed, because you can just run minus speed and you're not going to lose out on much. It has Giga Drain, Leaf Storm, Knockoff, Ancient Power. It has I'm trying to name all these off the top of my head. It has Shockwave, which is really, really cool. It's just got a lot of cool utility moves like Leech Seed, Synthesis too. It has Tickle. Tickle's a really cool move. It lowers attack and defense by 1 stage. That's really, really cool. It's a lot of support moves, but it can also sit there and be a really good sponge, soak up hits, and then switch out with Regenerator, and then come back in and it have its health back. It's just such a cool Pokemon, dude. I really like Tangrowth. It's such a reliable wall. It's not gonna die in 1 hit more than likely, unless they've got like Z Hurricane Tornadus or something like that. But it's just such a cool Pokemon, man. Tangrowth, I think it helps soak up the ground type hits that Diancie doesn't deal with very well either, and it also helps deal with the water types that Diancie has trouble dealing with, as well as the steel types to a sense, I guess. Like, it can help deal with the steel types. It has Earthquake. It's not going to be the best mod to take on steel types, but it can at least deal with them, because it's a giant wall, man. Tangrowth is so cool in that sense that it can just be a wall for anything. Our next mon here is going to be Cobalion, who is a tier 3, and in my opinion, Cobalion should be a tier 2 Pokemon. Cobalion does way too much to be a tier 3 Pokemon. It has access to Stealth Rock, it has base 108 speed, it has I want to say 129 attack. I could be wrong. Let me double check that. Base 129 defense. Oh, it only has base 90 attack. Wow, you suck, Cobalion. I thought you were a lot better than what you were. I still don't think it's a tier 3 Pokemon, though. It has base 90s on the both attacks. Wow, actually. I didn't know it had base 90 special attack. I know its special attack was respectable, but it's got base 90 offenses. It has access to Calm Mind, actually, which is really cool. We have a lot of Calm Mind users. It has access to Volt Switch, which a lot of people often forget. It's able to switch out. It has a good physical and special move pool. Obviously, dual stabs on both sides is very, very scary. And this mon helps us break steel types that otherwise we struggled with Diancie, with Lottie, and I mean to an extent Tangrowth, although Tangrowth doesn't really care. Close combat's really cool to help break those steel types, and even Focus Blast if we're getting crazy. It's a rocker, which is really cool. A lot of people forget that Cobalion gets Stealth Rocks, and it has Quick Attack. It has Quick Attack, Poison Jab. It has moves like that. I'm actually looking now because I actually didn't know that much about Cobalion. We have Taunt. Taunt is so cool, man. Taunt is such a cool move. We have Thunder Wave, like Reflect. Like Cobalion, when you look at Cobalion, the first thing you think is, okay, we've got a really cool offensive mon here ready to rock. Swords Dance too. How did I forget Swords Dance Rock Polish? It's a cool setup mon. But when you look at Cobalion, it's like, okay, so we got a really cool offensive mon. We'll be able to click Swords Dance maybe. We'll be able to click Rock Polish maybe. And then we'll be able to finish off a sweep, maybe clean late game, something like that. But they often forget that Cobalion can be a really good support mon with things like Thunder Wave, Reflect, Stealth Rock. Cobalion really can be a good support mon, and as long as it's here to break the steel types, that's what we needed to do. So I think it fits on the team nicely, and I just think it's a good pick overall to help with Diancie and its weaknesses. Our next pick here is gonna be Swampert. I did not expect to get Swampert 5th overall. I love Swampert, one of the best tier 3s in my opinion. Such a good Pokemon, one of the best typings in the game, at least the best defensive typing in the game. I can't speak, I'm sorry, I just woke up, guys. But Swampert, grass, no, I'm right. What was I getting mad at myself for? Grass and water, wait. Grass is its only weakness. It is a ground and water type. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry guys, but it's a really cool Pokemon in the sense that it's similar to Tangrowth, a very, very reliable wall, and you can even go minus speed on it and run dual stabs, but they can also be both physical and special with like Scald and Earthquake. It also has Earth Power, it also has Waterfall, so you can run full physical, full special. It has rock coverage, it has ice coverage. It gets Stealth Rock. Stealth Rock is really, really nice. It has access to moves like Curse even. I do believe you do get Curse, right? I'm not just talking about my butt. Yeah, you get Cursed. Swampert is one of my favorite mons that I've used too. Swampert's one of the mons that I've used the most extensively, and I feel the most comfortable using Swampert. One of my favorite Pokemon. Absolutely love this Pokemon. It can help with the steel types that Diancie struggles with, and our team is not scared of grass types at all. This is, I believe, besides Diancie, this is our only grass weakness on the team. I'm not scared of grass types at all. Grass types actually, like, when I see a grass type, I'm gonna smile as opposed to be scared, because Swampert's not gonna care. We slap a Rindoberry on Swampert, we don't have a grass weakness on the team, and that's gonna be really, really nice. I just think Swampert fits in perfectly, and this was a mon that I was definitely gonna get at one point or another to at least help with our playoff draft, because this is a mon that I just feel so comfortable with. And I have this plus Tangrowth in the APA Showdown too, if you guys have been following that, and that's one of my favorite teams I've ever drafted. So I thought getting these two together is just such a hardcore to break. But next up here, we do have, I almost revealed something I shouldn't have. Next up here, we have Zapdos, we have Tempest. This mon was still left 6th round, and that's the only reason I got it. After the first 5 picks, I had zero plan. But I saw Zapdos still there, and it has access to Defog, has access to Thunder Wave. It's a good speed tier with base 100, so those base 100 mods can't run Adamant, can't run Modest, which is really cool, because I'm not afraid to run a speedy Zapdos. I will run an offensive Zapdos. It has access to Volt Switch and U-Turn, dual momentum, which is so good, dude. Has access to, did I already say Roost? Yeah, longevity is super important, and it helps us break bulky waters, which we kind of struggled with up to this point. Zapdos is really good in that sense. It's a good wall, but it's also a good offensive Pokemon. Base 125 special attack is nothing to laugh at. Base 100 speed is really nice, and then it's got base 90, 85 defenses plus 90 HP. It's a really hard mon to break, and electric flying is a really underrated defensive typing in my opinion. It's not weak to a whole lot of common things. It's weak to rocks, which definitely sucks, but other than that, like, it's weak to ice. Like, a lot of things are weak to ice. Ice isn't the most prominent like weakness on this team, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, we have Tangrowth and Latias, but like, we have some switch-ins for it too. Like, ice isn't the worst thing in the world. So I think the Zapdos fit really nicely. Just adding another Defogger was really nice. Adding another wall was really nice. And Zapdos is another mon that I'm really comfortable with. So I thought getting it in the 6th round was an absolute steal. But next up here with our 7th pick, we are going to move on to get Drapion, a mon that I wanted last time that I did not manage to get. We are getting this time. It's one of the best Toxic Spikers, which is sad because there's not that many good Toxic Spikers. But it's also a Dark type, so it helps us with those bulky Psychics that I was talking about earlier. Those bulky Psychics really give our team a tough situation to deal with up to this point, and Drapion really helps us deal with that. It gets Pursuit, it gets Sucker Punch, it gets Knockoff, it gets a lot of really cool moves. Swords Dance, I do believe, right? It does get Swords Dance. It's just a really cool Pokemon. It can be a really good support mon. Like I said, the main purpose of him being here is like Oogity before him to help with those bulky Psychics. Man, I'm gonna miss Oogity. That little Spiritomb guy, he was a nice guy. Oogity was a nice guy. Maybe he'll make the final draft. But Drapion actually gets a really wide plethora of moves. Like, you wouldn't expect how many coverage moves he gets. He gets Poison Stab, obviously. He gets Ice Fang, Thunder Fang, Fire Fang. He gets Earthquake. He gets Rock Slide, I think. Yeah, Rock Slide. He gets Shadow Claw? Do you not get Shadow Claw? Why does this giant bug-looking Scorpion not get Shadow Claw? What in the world? That's crazy to me. But people underrate just how good of a move pool this Pokemon has. And it's got a really nice speed tier, actually, too. You look at this thing, I'm thinking, like, what, 75 speed, 80 speed, something like that, 65 even. It's got 95 base speed, so it helps our speed tiers again. So it's a really cool Pokemon. But next up here, we did decide to go with Araquanid. Araquanid is a really cool Pokemon, and I actually decided to go Drapion above Araquanid because I think it was 14, 15, 16. The 3 people that picked after me all had water types, so I didn't really see them getting Araquanid, really reliable water types at that. So, like, we have Swampert. I love doubling up on water types when one of them doesn't have reliable recovery, so that's why we went Araquanid. Webs is not the most ideal thing in the world, but Araquanid is a water type that is I could speak. Araquanid is a water type that is resistant to ground, which really helps a lot of our team. And just having the presence of webs being there is really difficult for other teams to prep for, and they're really going to have to think about that when they prep, because if we bring webs and you don't prep for that, we could easily just be with like Banded Cobalion late game, or Specs Lottie late game. Like, you have to prep for webs. If you don't prep for webs, then you might just lose because you didn't prep for webs. So Araquanid's a really cool Pokemon in that sense, and it's one of my favorite Pokemon too, like, just design-wise. It's really cool, but it doesn't hit as hard as you would like it to, with only 70 base attack and 50 base special attack. But Water Bubble boosts that to the sky. We have Liquidation, we have Scald, we have Surf, we have Ice Beam, we have Mirror Coat is really cool. There's a lot of things that Araquanid can do. It doesn't seem like it, but there's a lot of things that Araquanid can do. It also gets, I think it gets Reflect, right? Yeah, it gets Reflect, which is really cool. So there's a lot more things that Araquanid can do just than set webs. When people look at Araquanid, they think, okay, here's my web setter. But Araquanid is not just a web setter. Araquanid can do more than that, and hopefully we're able to show that here in this next 4 weeks. But next up here with our 9th pick, we picked a mon that I didn't think we were going to pick. We picked Moltres. I went into this not thinking we were going to get a fire type, and then George hyped up Talonflame, so I was excited to get Talonflame. And then I forgot Panther showed me his draft plan, and he wanted Talonflame, so when I showed Panther the draft plan, he was like, "You're a little snake, aren't you?" But shout out to Panther, by the way. He was just kidding, but I wouldn't have taken it if I knew that he was getting it, which I didn't. I didn't take it because I knew he was getting it, but we ended up going Moltres because it's kind of the same thing as Talonflame in the sense that it's a flying type with it's a fire flying type, which is cool. In that sense, it does give us a rock weakness, but our team isn't immensely weak to rocks. Our only other weaknesses are Araquanid and Zapdos, so I thought that was cool. Flying Stab is super hard to switch into. Moltres helps our speed tier with base 90. It has Hurricane, it has Fire Blast. not the best move pool in the world, but with this free Z format, Z Sunny Day is going to be very, very prominent. It has reliable recovery in both Morning Sun and Roost. It's very straightforward mon, very offensive mon, very in your face. It gets Will-O-Wisp, like it's just a very in your face mon, very pressuring mon. Like its dual stabs hit a lot of things, and its dual stabs are going to make a lot of people very, very scared, and you're going to have to prep for this mon. And if you want to bring rock coverage for it, cool. If you want to bring rocks for it, cool. We've got a lot of defoggers, and I feel like this is a mon that will catch people off guard if they don't prep for it, and we'll be able to get some dubs with this mon. I haven't been saying all my Pokemon's nicknames, have I? Oh my gosh. Moltres here is Nacho Dust. Araquanid is Profaquinid because Professor Araquanid. It's something that I used to do when I was littler. I had like I had this channel called Poketrips, and I used to try to teach people things, and my character icon was a Professor Araquanid, so Profaquinid. What did I pick before that? Excuse me. Drapion is going to be known as Sea-Dad. Who did I pick before that? Let me see here. Zapdos is Tempest, Swampert's Hank Tank, Cobalion will be Cobalt, Tangrowth will be Tangjelly, Latias will be Misery, and then Mega Diancie will be Graham, because I have a Graham known as, or I have someone named Diane in my family who we call Graham, so Diancie, Diane, Graham, so I thought it was cool. But anyway, moving on with the draft. I'm sorry, this one's really scattered brain. Number 10, we do have Exploud here. Exploud is actually one of my favorite Pokemon design-wise. I love this thing, and the real reason we picked it is because there was nothing better in webs. That's the real reason. This thing can be a monster under webs with Boom Burst Scrappy. That's really the only reason. That's the only reason you'll ever see it. And then lastly, we picked Ferroseed. Don't expect much from this little guy. We picked him because another rocker, another steel type will be nice to help with some weaknesses, and it's a mon you do have to prep for, because if you don't bring a single fire type move, like look at our team, we have 3 fire weaknesses including Ferroseed. You don't bring a fire type move, maybe we'll win with Ferroseed, who knows. But that's gonna be the draft for the next 4 weeks here, guys. I'm sorry I was a little bit scatterbrained. I did just wake up, and I really need to get this done so I can start working on other stuff today, because I need to render this entire video today. But let me know what you guys think of this draft down below, and let's make it another good 4 weeks. I believe our schedule this 4 weeks is crazy. The first opponent we do have is gonna be WolfeyGlick. We'll face WolfeyGlick, the world champion, in week 5. Week 6 we face aDrive, Dan aka aDrive. I'm super excited for that. Week 7 we play Kurt, my boy JustKurt, one of my best online friends. And then week 8 we play Panther, my biggest role model and the person I look up to the most. So it's going to be a really crazy 4 weeks. Hopefully we'll be able to go 4-0. I've looked at some of the team matchups, and some of them are a little bit rough, but some of them are pretty nice in our favor. So we'll see how it goes, guys. Hopefully I'm able to bring you guys some dubs. But with all of that being said, make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed. And for now, guys, this has been John Jr. signing off.